No! None of that! Shame on you!
Be original, be your own you, be your own you. And when you stop being such a dirty hack, get in your stupid car and don't come back. Get in your stupid car and don't come back.
The Social Injustice Warrior series is not meant to offend, so if you're offended, then refer back to this intro a few times over. Most importantly, the Social Injustice Warrior wants you to remember that his opinions don't matter. They're just the way one cynical asshole sees the world. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it. These videos are satiric reviews, and this channel doesn't claim the rights to any copyrighted footage. So stop trying to pull our videos, jerks!
Hey there, I'm Social Justice Warrior v Infuso, and welcome back to WCW 2000 Copies Everything. So let's just get into it, shall we? Norman Smiley's run with the WCW Hardcore Championship was an obvious attempt at trying to recapture Crash Holly's underdog with a belt run back in WWE. Goldust was originally set to make his debut as an alleged Undertaker-inspired character, but standards and practices deemed him not safe for TV and pulled the plug. We'd of course years later see him debut a similar dark-spirited character in TNA, Black Rain, and I think we all remember how well that went. Not many will remember this, but there was a brief period in time in WCW where Sting was burned following his Human Torch match with Vampiro, and he began to wear a mask during his appearances and hiding his burned face. This was clearly inspired by the success Russo had with the Kane gimmick in WWF. Though Sting protested the idea, it was inevitably dropped with very little explanation. And by little, what I really mean is absolutely none. Former WWF superstar Virgil would enter WCW as Vincent, a rib on Vince McMahon. But during 2000, he'd change his names once again as WCW apparently switched targets. He continues to job under the name Shane, a rib now on Vince's son, Shane McMahon. Ron and Don Harris would briefly be known as Patrick and Gerald during their phase as creative control / standards and practices, a play on the names of then WWE corporate stooges Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. At this point in time, they were very much a parody, so seeing this made them a parody of a parody? Not really hard to see why WCW isn't around anymore. And when WCW wasn't copying WWF in the year 2000, it was just recapping its own glory days. David Flair began his wrestling career as Nature Boy Jr. until it was decided that that wasn't working, and then that gimmick went on to Charles Robinson, the referee. David Flair would then go on to team with Daphne to form a more Mickey and Mallory-inspired gimmick. The announcers went so far as to hammer home that comparison multiple times on several segments of Nitro and Thunder. The Varsity Club even had a reunion to very low fanfare in the form of Mike Rotunda, Kevin Sullivan, and Rick Steiner. Because I don't know, someone thought they'd get over? In 2000? And when they weren't doing that, Vince Russo was just copying whatever was on TV at the time. Prince Iaukea became the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea, which seems more like a joke Jericho would make in a promo than it does an actual gimmick. And somehow, it was even more one note than you're thinking. Mike Awesome would become That 70s Guy because That 70s Show existed? 3 Count debuted as a boy band who wrestled because this was during the rise of the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Although, let's be honest, it totally worked. Forget your Undertaker versus Sting. 3 Count versus 3MB was the real dream match that we were all robbed of. So I'm the Social Justice Warrior v Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth, then don't forget to like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.